Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Coaches Close Clients podcast. Today we have Will Schiller here from the New Age Coach, and we're going to chat about all kinds of things about the state of the coaching industry and why some coaches fail and some of his top tips around high ticket sales for coaches. So thanks so much for being here.
Awesome. No, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to dive in.
Awesome. So to start off with, just tell us a little bit more about you and what you do now.
Yeah, totally. So started out as a online health and fitness coach late 2015, early 2016. So kind of in the early infancy stages of online coaching, when it wasn't really what it is today. And things were going good. I mean, it was kind of the wild west when it came to online coaching about 3-4 years ago, and there were no real rules or no real systems. And I was currently transitioning out of my 9-to-5 cubicle job and wanted to go all in online, and over kind of trial and error and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, I was able to eventually make a full-time income online as a health fitness coach, and things started to really grow up from there, which was awesome. But as the industry started to change, I started to change my approach. I needed to tweak and adjust how I got clients, how I communicated with clients, with algorithms always changing and customer wants and needs always changing. There was always a bit of a juxtaposition in terms of business strategy and really making sure that you can appeal to your ideal type of client. So I was always trying to stay on the cutting edge of that to make sure that my client roster was always full and growing, which it was. And up until last year, once I started transitioning out of that to go more into business coaching, my client roster was filled with, I think I only took on about 50 clients at a time, and I had 2 other coaches working under me as well. So things were going really well that way. And I started getting a lot of questions from other online coaches asking how to get more clients, how they can build their online business or transition out of their 9-to-5 job or from the gym, if they're currently doing in-person personal training sessions. And to be honest with you, I just started giving free advice and kind of coaching a couple people for free, just essentially showing them what I've done over the past few years. And demand and questions started growing more and more and more, and I decided to coach some people just under my wing for a small fee, and they started to see great results as well, which was awesome over these past couple of years. So I decided to start making a shift over this past year and go more into business coaching and transition out of health and fitness coaching online. And I think it's only been about a few months now since I officially launched the New Age Coach and started branding myself and going all in on business coaching for health and fitness clients. But yeah, so far things have been going great, and clients have been seeing great results online and really stepping into their vision, stepping into what exactly they want to create in the online space. And that's exactly what I've been doing over these past couple of years now, and things have been better than ever, which is awesome.
Nice. I love that. And I love how you mentioned like 2015 as if it was a billion years ago.
Yeah.
Back in the infancy of the
Business-wise, it was. So much has changed since then. Like, honestly, I'm not even kidding. Back then, the only thing I was focused on was growing my Instagram account. That's it. That's all I cared about. And it's so funny how opposite it is now. It's like all I cared about was likes and comments and just growing Instagram followers to get a name for myself, because back then that's what I thought was important. And it's funny how backwards that thinking was when I look back on it now. And it's just, it's crazy how things have changed.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about that. What has really been the biggest things that have changed, and where do you kind of see the state of the coaching industry right now?
Yeah, totally. That's such a great question. So going back to that, like 2015, 2016, I would say kind of the name of the game for quote unquote online coaching back then was to grow your following as big as possible, try and get hundreds of thousands of followers, and then sell your $47 ebook at mass and at scale. And to be honest with you, that was kind of the only business model that was around at that time. And even for me starting out at that time, that's what I thought you had to do. So really making sure that you can kind of zig when the rest of the industry zags, and really understand what makes you different and how you can stand out from the crowded marketplace was something that was a really big transitional moment for me. And it's something I teach as well, because even today, I feel like so many online coaches still kind of get stuck in this mindset of, I need more followers, I need more comments, I need like groups, I need comment groups and bots and all of this stuff and automation things. And especially in today's day and age, one of the biggest things that people crave more than ever is human connection and that authenticity. And I think if online coaches can have that at the forefront of their messaging and of their strategy, they're only going to build a long-term brand, and they're only going to see continued success month after month after month, versus just going after the short-term payouts, just going after short-term followers or fame or whatever it may be. That stuff doesn't necessarily last, and I definitely had to learn that the hard way. But that's one of the biggest shifts I would say that I've seen in the industry today, is that in this age where we're looking to scale and we're looking to grow and build more machine-like systems, at the end of the day, customers are actually craving more human authenticity and connection more than ever. So finding that balance, I think, is very important in today's day and age, for sure.
Right. Fascinating. And how does a coach go about doing that? I feel like everyone's like talking about be authentic and be vulnerable, and like how does that kind of, how do you see that as a tactical thing for people to start incorporating?
Yeah, great question. And it kind of depends what your goals are. I mean, if you're trying to be an influencer, then I would say, yes, you should share a lot of personal experiences, and you should share a lot of your own personal stories and try and grow your brand that way. But if you're trying to be a coach, I find that most coaches, I'm not sure where they're getting the advice, but they continually make stories and posts about themselves. And if you're trying to be a coach, you need to understand that it's always about them. It's always about the type of client that you're trying to attract. And I feel like personal stories are great if you're drawing an example to a particular topic that you're talking about, but always making sure that your content is geared to your ideal type of client, and you understand the pain points, you understand the problems and the issues and the challenges that they're going through on a daily basis, and you speak to that in your content, and you're always leading with value, you're always leading with solution. That's kind of the chasm and the bridge where people start viewing you as the authority. People start viewing you as the type of person who can get them to where they want to go, who can be the solution to their problems. And if you're an online coach, that's how you have to position yourself in today's day and age, and really making sure that you stand out and you strategize your messaging in that way, because that's how you're really going to attract your ideal types of clients for the long term, for sure.
I think that's a common thing I've been hearing, is like a lot of people are creating content for themselves. And it kind of goes back to the thing you were saying about 2015, when people were just wanting to be big on Instagram and grow their brands and everything. And it kind of just is like fueling the ego instead of actually serving the client's needs. And I think it's so easy to get lost in that and be like, okay, I need this many followers, and like people won't take me seriously if I don't have 10K followers, and all these kind of like false, wrong beliefs about why it is that you're even a coach in the first place.
100%. I couldn't agree more. I think that's kind of the starting point for a lot of people, is immediately you think you have to grow this mass following to get to where you want to go. And the industry is changing. I mean, the industry is changing. Like, let's be real. You could have an audience of 50 people, and if you can really create a good, intimate relationship with most of those 50 people, and you're selling a high ticket package, you can do really well month after month. Like, you can have a 6-figure business just off those 50 people if you look at it that way. So the barriers to entry nowadays are so low, and anybody can get into it as long as you have the right mindset, as long as you have the right outlook and are focused more on the long term.
Awesome. So let's talk a bit about that, like about high ticket and that kind of business model, and how you don't need a huge following for that. So tell us kind of some of your top tips for being successful in selling high ticket. So like one of the things you were saying is actually building a good relationship with those 50 people, for example, that you have. So just tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, totally. So to hit on that, like I was saying, if you're selling high ticket, people need to know, love, and trust you, as you know. That's the fundamental core to making sales, is that know, love, and trust factor. So if you're selling high ticket, you need to make sure that that know, love, and trust factor is being expressed within your content, within Facebook groups, challenges, stories, whatever it may be. And people are continually seeing you show up. People are continually seeing how you interact as a coach, as a leader, as an authority within that space, and really make sure that you're continually making that connection with them. Even if you're not talking to them in the DM or on a phone call, whatever it may be, if you're always speaking to them with your content and it feels like you're talking to their problems, you're talking to what they're going through, you're talking to what the challenges are, and they're just resonating and hanging on every word that you say. That's one of the biggest shifts that you can make in selling high ticket, is speaking to one type of person instead of speaking to the masses, because I feel like so many people focus on the masses, and they don't really get anywhere, and they just continually spin their wheels. And then the second thing would be to focus on transformation, not information. And I think we live in this information-rich world. I mean, if you want to answer to anything, you can Google it, you can YouTube it, and you'll get the answer in seconds. The little thing that you have in your pocket right now, your phone, can literally give you any answer you want. So if you're making content, for example, that is just regurgitation of advice that anybody has access to, it's not really compelling. It's very surface level. So really making sure that you can go a step deeper and relate that information to your ideal type of client, and foster that transformation versus just surface level information is when you can really start making big strides within your business and creating some good quality relationships with ideal types of clients.
Nice. I love that. So we also want to talk a little bit about like why people are failing and why a lot of coaches aren't succeeding. So one of the things you just mentioned was like trying to talk to the masses. So what are some other reasons why some coaches are stuck, as you said, like spinning their wheels?
Yeah, totally. So in addition to those 2 points that we just said, one of the biggest ones that's kind of separate would be focus. And I'll dive into this, but I think a lot of online coaches are focused on the wrong things. And don't get me wrong, it is very important to build up a follower base, a community of like-minded individuals. I do think that's important, but it's only one slice of the pie. And I feel like a lot of online coaches focus 100% of their time, energy, and effort on building that community, on creating content, and they kind of slack off in the actual coaching fulfillment systems, in the marketing systems, in what the sales process looks like. And that's where a lot of coaches go wrong, because it's great to have a large following and lots of likes and comments, but it doesn't really matter if you don't have a good product to back that up. And the best coaches are the coaches who are doing a good job getting leads in the door through their marketing, but they're also retaining these clients, and they're signing up with higher levels of service because they're doing such a good job with their coaching. They're doing such a good job with getting those transformations. And not only that, but the clients that they're getting and the clients who are seeing amazing transformations, they're telling all their friends about it too, because they're doing such a good job as a coach, and they're focused on the client experience first and foremost. And I think if that's one of the top focuses of your coaching business, nothing but good can come from that. Like nothing but good can come from getting people amazing results. And that should always be the number one thing. And I think a lot of online coaches make creating content the number one thing. And that's not necessarily getting clients results. That's not necessarily getting new clients or getting new leads in the door if you're going about it the wrong way. So I would say focus on the wrong things is one of the main things that keeps some online coaches stuck, for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. So for you, like, where do you focus most of your time as an effective coach and mentor?
Yeah, that's a great question because we're in the middle of scaling up actually. So I hired a mindset coach to help me with all of my client calls and my client fulfillment, which is going really well. And also have a Facebook ads person to help me with that on the back end, and some funnel builders and script writers for my copy and different back end stuff that I'm building out. So my team is definitely growing, which is good. And right now I'm in the process of focusing on managing that team, but also making sure, just like I was saying in my previous point, that client experience is always number one. As a business owner, even if you're an online coach just starting out, you do want to focus on everything. You do want to make sure that your business is running like a well-oiled machine. But at the end of the day, client experience is always number one. And getting testimonials, or on the flip side, people saying bad things about you, can like make or break your business. So really making sure that that's first and foremost, and you base your business decisions off of that input, off of that variable, is so important for long-term success. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, and continually growing, continually scaling is definitely the goal, but just always making sure that clients are getting results and clients are having a good experience in our programs is always number one, and that will definitely never change.
Nice. Love that. Love that. So to end off, can you share like a couple of the tactics you see that are working when it comes to like more of like the funnels and the Facebook ads and that kind of stuff going into 2019? I know a lot of coaches right now are really concerned about Facebook ads. They're saying it's not working for them, or, tell us a little bit about what you see going on in that landscape and some of your top tips.
Totally. That's a great question. And to boil it down to a couple of things, first and foremost, I don't think I would necessarily hop into Facebook ads right away unless you're making like maybe at least 5K a month. Because with Facebook, and I'm sure you know this too, there's a lot of testing involved, and you almost need to be able, this is a bad way of saying it, but like you almost need to be able to burn a little bit of money in order to see what works and see what doesn't, because it's all market feedback. So if you're getting into Facebook ads and you don't have that capital yet, it's not a smart choice right away. Sure, down the road, but right away it's not a smart choice. So I would focus on the organic route if you're just starting out. But if you are dabbling into funnels and Facebook ads, and I honestly don't think this will ever change because it's just how we're ingrained as humans, as human psychology. Testimonials always work, especially if they're video testimonials and they're compelling and they get someone excited. Someone has an emotional response when they're watching that testimonial. And the reason why that's so good, especially if you're niche down, especially if you're focused on an ideal type of client, is because if a prospect can see a video of someone who is just like them, who has the same problems, the same lifestyle, the same goals and aspirations, see amazing results, then it almost talks that person who's watching the video into coaching with you as well. Because more times than not, the reason why someone might not sign on with you is because they don't believe in themselves. It is because they don't think they can do the work. They don't think they can do the results. So if they can actually see a testimonial video of someone who's just like them, who had the same problems, who had the same questions before signing up, who actually saw amazing results, it just makes the decision for them that much easier. And promoting stuff like that through Facebook ads or through funnel builders and webinars, obviously, as you know, and different platforms like that is one of the biggest and most profitable things that you can focus on. Even if you're going the organic route, to be honest, I mean, Facebook ads aside, if you're just focused organically, trying to get clients on Instagram or Facebook, share testimonials, share like screenshots of wins or whatever it may be at least once or twice a week. Because yes, maybe it gets a little bit less engagement, but I guarantee you that you're going to get the most bang for your buck for posts or for stories like that. So whenever you can, always focus on that stuff because it pays dividends in the long term for sure.
I love that. What a perfect way to end off. So thank you so much for this super informative episode. I'm sure everyone learned so much and really enjoyed getting to chat with you.
Yeah, totally. I'm excited to connect more with you later on as well. I think we're both up to some big things, which is awesome.
Awesome. So if people want to join you, get into your community, learn more about you, what's the best way they can do that?
Yeah, the best two ways would be on Facebook or on Instagram. On Instagram, at the New Age Coach, spelled just like it sounds. And on Facebook, my personal account is the one I primarily use, and that's Will Schiller, WILLSCHILLER. And that's where I post a lot of tips and videos and stuff like that on a weekly basis as well. So those would be the best spots.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on, and
Cool.
we'll see everyone next time.
Mm-hmm.